I cannot commit to that level of commitment.
Oh, so you're a piece of shit. Cool, cool. Dan, the 150-year-old millennial. It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
RIP to the last 4 minutes of the episode because Dan's audio crashed. We had some really insightful things that we said.
Classy,
Honestly,
one might even
maybe
say.
the deepest philosophically that we've ever gotten on this show.
Mhm.
But I mean, how could we rehash that? You know, you can't just rehash something that was that important.
You're right.
You gotta
You're right. Yeah.
it's here, it's gone in the breeze.
Which is why I think
So
we should talk about a
instead-
new thing.
Yeah,
Noah, you ever cook?
I have cooked a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
every now and then.
So you ever have a situation where just you realize that like the old tried and true methods of cooking, there's a reason they're tried and true. There's a reason they work, you know?
I'm gonna have to ask you to elaborate a little bit because I think I know what you're talking about, but like, there's a pretty big like who knows type of
No.
thing. You know what I mean?
I will not
Oh.
elaborate further.
Oh. Okay, fine. Don't elaborate further.
Just
You don't even have like an example to hand me? You goddamn little bitch. You're gonna steal my opening bit and you're not even gonna play it straight with me? I'm ready to go the distance, but you're not ready to go the distance. What color is your Bugatti, Dan? You're not a man.
Oh
How are you
my
ever gonna be a
God.
billionaire?
Oh my god, I've peaked my mic so much. I'm sorry. You scream.
Anyway, so I'll take that back over. So I rediscovered that cooking your food slowly does wonders for it. But like not in the way that I usually cook food slowly, because sometimes I'll cook food slowly and that means like I slow cook a roast in the pot, like normal shit, right? This time I diced up my onions, celery, and carrots, and I popped that into my chicken pot after I seared off a bunch of chicken to make chicken and biscuits and gravy. And I just let that steam in there after the initial like deglazing with some vermouth. I popped that chicken back in, closed the lid, and it kind of like steamed and cooked slow in there for a while. And I came back and it's delicious. It's sweet from the carrots. It's got full flavor from the other seasonings I added in there. Shit tastes amazing.
That sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
But
to you.
like I made almost this exact dish, almost the exact same dish like 2 weeks ago. And it was not this good.
Nowhere near. Yeah, of course.
Like, this was so good. How did I mess it up? I didn't, but like, how was it different? As it turns out, the difference, cooking it slower in a slightly different way, less boiling.
Crazy.
So yeah,
Who could imagine? Who could have possibly expected?
I know. But as I'm sitting here eating it, like waiting for you to come back, I was just like, wow, this is wild. I can't believe that, following like, I clown on the French cooking a lot, right?
Of
Like
course.
I do that a lot because I might not actually do that here. I think I just do it in my personal life a lot, but like, I have
You have
actually
opinions.
this could be a fun conversation for us, Dan. I have the opinion kind of a fuck French cuisine because a lot of French cuisine is just butter and cream,
I don't.
But what I do tactfully ignore is the fact that for Western cooking in general, like Europe on over, they set a standard of food kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like consistent knife cuts, consistent this, that, the other thing, like inventing terms for how to make foods turn out certain ways. You know what I mean?
I think so.
I think I watch a lot more cooking shows.
Yeah, but like I don't not watch cooking shows, to be fair.
True, but like we might be watching different cooking shows if this did not immediately make sense to you. But in the same way that like the reason that I don't like French cooking stuff is because someone like Gordon Ramsay will go to India, he'll go to Mexico, he'll go to Puerto Rico, and he'll be like, this traditional dish from this place, blah, 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 blah. But then he'll make it like a classically trained French chef, which kills a lot of what makes those dishes what they are. And he, quote unquote, elevates them.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Who?
There's a.
I said Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, sorry. I missed. I didn't hear the Gordon Ramsay part. There's a TikToker who's doing the same thing. Like that's their bit. Is they're doing pretentious versions of
Oh
like
no!
classic
Oh
food.
no! I do love that. The guy who pretends he owns a bread and breakfast, and he's
Mhm.
like making the most pretentious food possible.
Yeah.
No, that's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
But
Sorry, I
no,
apologize.
because this is no, you're good. Because this is something that happens an awful lot with like what do you call it? With celebrity like big chef people like Gordon Ramsay, specifically in like his competition cooking shows. You'll see him say, "This week the teams are to make burritos from Mexico," and if someone were to deliver him just a normal burrito or taco, he would not be happy because he wants them to elevate it. He wants them to make it better, to make it to implying that the traditional method is bad,
Hmm.
you know, that it's too rustic, it's too whatever phrase that they're going to throw around, peasanty, I don't know, like weird shit like that,
Yeah, of course. Peasanty, that's what I think of.
Exactly. And I have transferred a lot of my dislike of that attitude into a general dislike of French cooking because the French cooking personalities are just kind of jackasses.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. Here's the thing though, French cooking, yes, it's simple. It is, you're not wrong when you say it's like basically butter, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is so good.
Well, I'm not saying it's simple either. I should clarify that. It's overly complicated stuff that you also drown in butter.
Yeah, and it fucks so hard.
100%, 100%. And that's the problem is like coming back to like actually taking time to cook again, like actually cutting up my fucking vegetables today into like consistent small sizes, which made my gravy sweet and rich and full because the carrots are like, this is official nutritional information. Carrots are like 90% sugar or some shit like that if you cook them.
Mm.
So they sweeten so much stuff, like so much if you put them into it. And it can really elevate whatever you need because you don't want to. People will do this trick for like pasta sauce. Because I personally am in the fuck you if you put sugar in your pasta sauce camp. Because there's so many other ways to make your sauce sweet that isn't just throwing sugar into it. It's a quick fix. If you have to make a sauce now, you can do that, But if you're actually taking the time to make a homemade sauce, why would you not also just take the time to make it better? And you can put carrot into your sauce and the carrot will disappear. You won't notice it's there, but its sweetness will make the sauce sweet again. Also, if you just cook it a little bit longer, it cuts the acidity down in a big way anyway. So like, check fucking mate, man. It's easy. Me talking about the one recipe I personally feel that I do incredibly well with. Yeah, I don't know why everyone else can't just do the same thing I do because it's actually easy once you've made it like 700 times. But,
I mean, but that's the thing though, right? Like,
I am the giant whose head you can stand on. I'm telling you how to do this.
Yeah, no, you're right, but it's true, but he shouldn't say it. Jesus Christ. Noah.
Oh my God. Dan, I don't know. I got an energy today, and this energy is sponsored by Red Bull. I wish it was sponsored, but it's just the new Red Bull flavor is out. And I'm vibing with it.
Dude, I get that though. Like
you see what it is this year?
Plum something. No, not plum.
It's a fig apple.
Fig, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, it's pretty good. And you may remember, longtime listeners of the Red Bull Review Corner may remember that I reviewed, oh God, what summer flavor was it that had like the cactus in it? It's the green one. You know the shit I'm talking about.
Sure.
I
don't remember.
Oh fuck. Half a sec. Red Bull Summer Edition. It ended up making its way into like a permanent lineup. Oh God, it's not the strawberry apricot. No, it was the green one. The green one, dragon fruit. Yeah. How everywhere else in the world it was called cactus fruit.
I did not know that.
Because it doesn't have enough dragon fruit in it apparently. But I think it tastes like green apple.
Sure.
Plus, which I think is fine. I don't like green apple, but I did like the dragon fruit.
Valid.
But the fig apple, it does taste like apple, which is I feel the need to say this just because not because I feel like I'm being attacked by you or anyone listening, but because I like to defend myself
from straw men. Yes, the straw men are very scary.
The straw man's coming after me, and I'm about to beat him down with this empty can. You see, I don't like green apple, but I am willing to consume green apple things. But I think red apple is better. I think green apple is just an overdone flavor.
I think that's
you know,
completely reasonable.
and the fig apple doesn't taste too much like green apple, and you can taste the fig. I'm very pleased.
That sounds great. I'm glad.
It's honestly not what I expected at all. Yeah.
I'm
7 out of 5, perfect score.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That sounds very tasty.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best Red Bull ever, but it's pretty damn tasty. I got no beef with it.
Yeah.
I'd drink it again. Well, I'm probably not gonna drink it again, but I would drink it again. I've actually done a really good job of moving away from drinking too much energy drink. So
I'm very proud of you, son.
thanks. This is actually fun story, Dan. This is the first time I've ever had caffeine headaches.
As in you have
Usually
caffeine and now you have a headache?
no. As in like stopping drinking caffeine is giving me a headache. I have stopped drinking caffeinated things probably like 4 or 5 times fully cold turkey. And it has not bugged me. But this time, after I switched off of energy drinks to coffee for a hot minute because the gas station nearby was doing free coffee.
Nice.
Stopping coffee was giving me caffeine headaches, it threw me off in a big way. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not expecting that drama in my life.
That'll do it.
Yeah, did not appreciate it. Low key, fuck coffee for that one. Kind of a bitch made move. But I'm now better than that because I did just have this Red Bull, so I'm gonna be teetering right back off the pit. But we're in recovery mode now.
Yeah. No, that tracks. Listen, I respect it. About once every 2 months, I say to myself, I'm gonna cut way back, and then I do for like a day, and then I get a bad day where I need caffeine and I'm falling asleep, and I just keep drinking caffeine, and then here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It doesn't help that work does free Red Bulls in the fridge. Like that really does not help.
Yeah.
Like
free Red Bull makes it hard.
Yeah, having a free version of anything you're trying not to have too much of. Yeah, not ideal. Yeah, and I still can't drink coffee. I keep trying, but
oh, Jackson and I were talking about this last week. I can't remember. Do you dislike tea or not? Okay, that's what I thought.
I find that a lot of tea, at least the ones that I have, tends to have a weird aftertaste that's sick to the roof of my mouth that I'm really not a fan of.
That's the tannins.
I don't like the tannins, which is, the tea. So.
Well, no, that's actually a lot of tannins come from overbrewed tea.
Oh, so I'm making my tea wrong.
It is possible. Well, actually, this is something that Jackson and I talked about a lot last week. So I'm not gonna go into it too much, but cooking your tea at too high of a temp, like boiling water, is you're burning leaves. And if you can kind of get away with that for some teas, but you also have to stop steeping it within like 5 minutes if you're going to play that dangerous game. And then in general, you're not really supposed to steep teas for too much longer than a few minutes anyway.
Interesting. The more you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to just have more tea then.
I'll tell you what. Next time you are up in town, I'll make you some tea.
Aw.
And then I'll sell you on just the concept of getting a little electric kettle that you can dial in how many degrees you want the water to be, because that is a game changer.
We did buy an actual little for a long time we didn't own a teapot,
mm-hmm.
which I would actually argue isn't that weird.
I don't think that that's very weird at all, if we're being honest. I think less people own a teapot in America than anywhere else, like proportionally.
Yeah, by the numbers.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's not a super common thing. Do you have an electric teapot?
No,
or
because we have a gas
well,
stove.
firstly, both are real. Firstly,
ooh.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of electric. I have a big one that is just turn on, turn off kind of action.
Okay.
It is fine. It works just fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it will boil up to, I think, 2 liters of water. It's far too much. It is far too much.
Way
water.
Too much. Yeah, that's like that would be good for iced tea. Like making up.
You know what else is good for?
What?
It will heat water faster than the stovetop will. So if you're making a big pot of pasta, You can start some of it there and some of it in the kettle and then top it off with boiling water and kind of help it get up there quicker.
Fair enough.
Or you can do what I use it for now, which is pretty much just drain cleaning.
What?
No? Okay. I kind of expected you to follow me on that one. As a former food service employee yourself, you know when you pour boiling water down a drain to clean it?
Just like by itself?
No? Well, yeah, you don't really need too much more. Ideally, you follow it with cold water. It shocks the drain, kills anything in it. If you have an outbreak of like, I don't know, drain flies, it'll kill them.
I just put actual drain cleaner in.
I mean, that's cool and all, but like Drano's bad for your drains. So like you
I
should
didn't know
avoid it
that.
when possible. Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, you should use it less often than some people like to.
I mean, how often is it less? Like, it's not that often.
How many times have you used it this year, Dan?
Once, twice, maybe.
Twice. That's too much, sir. Too much.
Canceled. Shut it all down.
Get out of here.
Hey, get out of my sandwich. No. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't think that just dumping boiling water is the thing I've ever done. But I'm glad that it works. I'm glad it works for you.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
Have you? Sorry, it just popped up on my timeline. Have you seen this about the 4090 melting people's computers?
Say what?
Yeah, the new GPU, the Nvidia's new like mainline GPU came out, right? Their new flagship. That's the word. It is the 4090. Is there like new massive one? It is ridiculous. It is like $1,500 just for the GPU. I think is MSRP right now. Might be more even. Dumb. It's too much money.
$1,600.
Yeah, too many
on the
dollars.
Nvidia site. That's too much.
No, too many dollars.
What does this thing look like? This thing looks bigger than a laptop.
It is actually like it is like depending. You could have. I've definitely seen laptops smaller than it. Let me put it that way.
Okay. So here's really funny, really funny in my opinion. It has like a performance bar listed here. And it's the RTX 3090 Ti. Relative performance: Microsoft Flight Sim, Warhammer 40K, Dark Tide, and Cyberpunk 2077. It all operate at 1, but then Flight Simulator gets to operate almost at 2. Warhammer's a little past 2, and Cyberpunk's above 4 times better. Firstly, hilarious that Cyberpunk would eat this fucking thing. How is Cyberpunk so janky still that it could still like it needs this much processing power?
I mean, I don't even think it necessarily needs it. I think that's just a hey, how at that point it's
maybe
like,
it can just take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it's at that point it's more of a like how much can it possibly like take rather than like how much does it need? Because I can run 2077 just fine on my current rig, but
Me
like
too.
if I wanted it to be like 4K,
it goes up to 85 FPS.
4K 85 FPS, like that's a very different thing versus my like 2K and like 30 FPS.
See, I love when normal people buy graphics cards like this. This is not for you. You know, regular people don't need this.
Correct.
This is for like someone's going to have like 6 of these slotted into some heavy development thing, but you don't need it for like a person.
No. I mean, you need it for streaming. You need it for like this at that point. This is my main line. What I spend my money on. Like I spend my money on my computer. Boom. But the problem with the fucking thing is it's running so hot. It's melting the cables that people are using to plug it in. Which is
just cheap cables, not like up to what it needs.
I mean, my understanding is basically that like depending on what kind of cable you have, if it has like a tiny defect, it can melt it. But that it's not supposed to. Obviously.
That's so funny.
But yeah, insane. Very cool. Insane. I'm looking to upgrade my computer again, Noah.
Oh, really?
It's that time.
Are you looking to pick up a RTX 4090?
I'm not, because I don't have a computer powerful enough to run it. Like I would need to get. I basically that. So when you're moving that far ahead, like I'll be me jumping from something made in 2019 is my current rig, 2019 to 2022. There are some parts, like theoretically, my motherboard would take it just fine. My motherboard doesn't give a shit. My RAM is gonna follow me to whatever my next build is, regardless. It's 32. I have like 32 gigs in this fucking thing.
Hmm.
My power supply on the other end, and
Yeah.
actually, ironically, my case does not have enough airflow.
Oh yeah, once you get into higher powered stuff like that, you really need to focus a lot more on airflow.
More than anything else. Yeah, my GPU has crashed multiple times in the last couple of weeks, and 90% of the time it's not from like, oh, it is too beefy, it is broken. It's running too hot. Like it can't cool
You know what
itself
you
down.
need to get, Dan?
Water
You need to
cooling.
get one of those fish tank rigs.
I love the fish tank rigs so much.
God, they're so weird.
They're so cool. I love them so much. Any funky like, oh, I have my entire rig like arrayed against the wall like it's a giant circuit board.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of shit is my favorite. I saw one where the entire rig was embedded inside of his desk. Like it had a glass top desk to the whole thing.
I love stuff like that.
I think it's so
I would
cool.
love to do that.
I would love to have the money to do that. Here's the thing though. Like at what so like logically, right? At what point is like this price on that not actually that big a deal, right? Like if I was buying a rig that was gonna like if I was buying a new top of the line like computer, you're looking at like $5,000 probably. As somebody who like throwing a number out there, it's probably less, but like top of the line.
But if we're talking like top of the line for what you realistically need,
Yeah,
you're probably let's just say $5,000.
let's say 5. It's probably closer to like 3.5 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever, it's actually probably closer to like 3.
Okay, let's say 3.
Whatever,
then.
let's say 3. Let's say 3. You're looking at $3,000. How much does it really cost to get somebody to like make you a custom case like that at that point? You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I think it would probably be shockingly a lot. I think
sure
you
it would
might
be-
at that point be paying as much for your custom desk as you are for the entire computer.
no, but like that to me, that's like a semi-reasonable price, right? Like $6,000 for a massive ass desk with my computer inlaid inside of the damn thing, properly set up, properly airflowed. Like this thing is gonna run me forever, and I can replace it later, or I can replace like a piece of it later if I need to. I would expect to spend like $10,000 on that. That feels like a $10,000 purchase.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, yeah, is that a fucking lot of money? Of course. Am I going to do it? Absolutely not. But it doesn't seem insane to me to say, oh yeah, that'll run you $10,000. But like $6,000 is like at least $6,000 it moves back into like that's an attainable amount of money. You know what I mean? It's still
I feel
fucking
like
shitload.
it's you got to be so committed to like where you're living if
Right?
you're going to do that.
That's how I feel about people who do like the home automation stuff too.
Oh yeah, like I'm sure you've seen the TikToks of the people they'll put like there's a hole in the wall that you throw laundry into and it automatically like pneumatic tubes it to their laundry room.
Yep. The advanced version of those like what they used to have in old houses where
Old like dumb waiters and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You just put the laundry basket at the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. I saw one where somebody had a coffee heater built into his desk.
Interesting.
It was just like it was basically a really low powered stovetop burner that was built into like a solid desk where you could set your coffee on it. It would just stay warm forever.
I don't know that I vibe with that personally
because it's a massive fire risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, valid.
Yeah, no, I'm not vibing with that specific idea.
People who have like automated window openers and shit.
I don't. You know what? As someone who doesn't need an automated window opener, I don't vibe with that either.
I don't need one either.
I know a lot of things like that operate in the world. Well, no, but you could, because you have tall ass windows in your apartment. What if you wanted to open up like an upper level?
Yeah, the upper level window would
so that
open.
Nothing can come out, nothing will get in because you'd have like a good like screen or something set up, but you can't reach those.
Mm-hmm.
That could be helpful for you.
That's true.
Or, like many things of these like variety are usually made for people or intended to be made for people, I guess I should say, with like disabilities who cannot physically do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have any windows I can't reach, so I'm pretty good with mine. But then I'll see some dumbass gimmick thing. Like, and I'm trying to think, I had one on the tip of my tongue. That's why I've been like kind of like riffing on this window thing for too long, is because I'm trying to remember what the hell I was going to say. House technology gimmick that was like, oh, but that's cool. Help me out here, Dan. You say something that you like.
No, I love this kind of stuff. Like it, like I don't know, people who have automatically open. Like I saw, like the one I saw was like a specific guy's house place who had he had a full like server running all of his home automation. It was like, hey, things turn on and off all the like at when he gets home. It's temperature control. It helps the temperature
Oh,
control.
like a smart thing, like it reads that his phone's in the house, so it like brings the house back up to temp, turns lights on in the rooms and stuff.
Yep. Things like that. Things like I love, me and my smart lights. I love smart lights.
Smart lights are fun.
They're so fun. They're
I have
so
them
expensive.
set up for my colored light setup in the office. But they're only smart to the point where I can Bluetooth connect to one bulb at a time and
What
change their
brand are they?
color. Oh God, I don't know, dude. I got them off Amazon. Let me unscrew this one and find out.
I can hear the like of you unscrewing it. That was amazing.
It's a Groovy, Grovee.
Yeah, I have Groovy. I've had Groovy stuff before.
Yeah, I did not spring for their Wi-Fi ones.
Because it's not Groovy, it's Govy. I'm pretty sure.
I prefer Groovy. Because I think Groovy is a better name for them, but I think you are right.
But yeah, I mean, if you get the Wi-Fi ones, like you can connect that like to whatever the fuck you want to. It's great.
I wouldn't mind having those. So, we live in an older house, and you can tell it's an old house because if you look for the outlets, they are all mounted in boxes external from the wall along the baseboard.
Ugh.
A good number of them, that's how they are mounted. You know,
that's cursed.
Annoying,
my friend. That's cursed.
Yeah. Not a fan. I wish someone had retrofitted the place better, but simultaneously...
Be the change you want to be in the world.
Well, no, are you kidding me? I don't own this house. I'm not putting that kind of work into this.
Correct. Good answer.
But there's no gas lamp pipes in this house. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so I can already tell you don't. So let me explain.
What?
In older houses, like old houses, my parents' house being one of them, there are little nubs that stick out from the wall and out from the baseboards. And the baseboard one would be for a gas heater, and the ones up on the wall are for a gas lamp. So you'd have a central natural gas line that you could light lamps like that. And that's where you would get your light in an older house that had like stuff like that set up, you know?
Interesting. Okay, then.
Some houses will still have those sticking out of the wall and just capped off. They're no longer connected, but going through and removing all the lead pipe is just not convenient. So you just don't do it, you know? So yeah, as it turns out, in my opinion, my parents' house back in the day would have been pretty bougie.
Yeah.
It had an internal vacuum cleaner. You know, there's setups like little connectors on each floor. There's natural gas line piped into each room.
As one does.
Exactly. So, I don't want to brag, but if we owned that house 150 years ago, we'd be pretty high on the hog. It's still just a nice house with a big yard.
150 years ago, I'd probably be pretty high on the hog, to be honest with you.
You'd also be pretty dead. Get dunked on.
Oh no, my age, my hubris.
Dan, the 150-year-old at least man.
Dan, the 150-year-old millennial, is the name of my new television show. I've been approved for 3 seasons on the CW.
All you do is make jokes about young people today, but they're like wildly out of date. But you also still hate Zoomers.
Yes, the catchphrase is they don't make them like they used to.
Yep. Honestly, you better look out because for all the shit that the CW uses, you probably they might steal this idea. I
want to talk about 2 things. I want to talk about 2 things, and these are both very important to me.
Okay.
The first is a gaming thing, and the second is a TV thing. Which would you like to hear first?
I would like to hear the gaming thing because it's almost topical.
Okay. So, RimWorld.
Okay.
Came out with a new DLC.
A new DLC that Crowd Control integrated with,
Crowd
right?
Control did integrate with, and I managed to make it work, and it's fucking great. No, this DLC is stupid. So it's called biotech, and the core, basically the 2 core pieces are, hey, you can stick little devices in your people's heads, and they can control little robots, or
nice.
You can start doing gene modification.
Nice.
Here's the 2 problems with this. The first is that in adding gene modification, they also added children. Meaning that RimWorld has now turned into, if you so choose to play that way, a disturbing eugenics simulator.
Yeah.
And I would make the argument that in a video game, that's one thing, but it's still kind of uncomfy.
Yes, 100%.
Uh,
We hear it off the air.
do not
I
support
think I can
eugenics.
safely say we have a zero tolerance policy for eugenics.
Correct. We do not have a zero tolerance policy for transhumanism, though.
I don't know what
Which
that means.
it's like evolving beyond the limits of like our current human bodies into like whatever the next phase of human evolution is, whether that's
Yeah, we have at least a 33% positive rating on that
correct.
one.
It's like CRISPR, but not at all, but sort of. It's like what CRISPR, you know what it is? It's not what CRISPR is. It's what people think CRISPR is.
Ah, there it is. That's it.
Which, but even something like CRISPR, kind of uncomfy, right? Like the idea that
Real quick,
go ahead.
I found my gooseneck kettle, the electric gooseneck kettle that I was going to try and pitch to you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of its cons is no safety features. And I just wanted to share that with you. I had no idea that my thing had no safety features. Continue.
So yeah, my point is very fun, very silly, whatever. All sorts of tomfoolery. They added like essentially since RimWorld is like a relatively it's not it used to be very hard like pretty hard sci-fi and it's kind of drifted away from that, but it still is very much like humanocentric.
Mm-hmm.
So while there aren't different races like the like there's like basically like offshoots of humanity. They're like
Yeah.
pig people and devil looking people and whatnot, and they're technically all humans, but they're
It's the Star Trek conundrum of, oh, another bipedal humanoid race.
exactly. But in this case, they are just like gene spliced humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
No confusion. And then there was one other thing that they kind of just snuck in there underneath things. And it's one of the new like pseudo races, and they're called sanguinophages.
Vampires?
They're goddamn vampires, Noah. Like just full on straight up vampires, and they fuck so hard. They're so cool. They get all sorts of new powers. They can die, but they can't bleed out because don't worry about it. They do have to consume blood, but the blood can come from any of the like versions of humans, so it doesn't matter for that. And their genes get overwritten by other sets of genes, or the other sets of genes get overwritten by their genes. And I've combined in my like solo game, and probably what I'm gonna do on my stream game. I've combined a vampire. I have given him a bunch of shit in his brain to make him more psionically powerful. I have strapped a mechanoid controller to the back of his skull. I made him the leader of a small faction, and I gave that faction ideology the precept of God Emperor.
Oh, you just made Warhammer.
I did a Warhammer, Noah, and it's so good. It's so fucking good.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited to get into the Warhammer video games just a little bit.
Are you getting 40K?
I'm getting Total War 2 because it's free on Epic Games if you have Amazon Prime. So I picked up Epic Games, then I picked up a free trial of Amazon Prime.
Honestly, I'll be honest. Total Warhammer 2, great game, 10 out of 10. Love that game so much. Yeah, I just it's good. It's a good game. It's good fun times. Total War is also great. Here's my problem with Total War Warhammer. And I think you're gonna run into this as well. And I think when you get into it a little bit, I want to have a conversation with you about it on the air because I think it'll be interesting. I have a problem with so there are two things you need to know about Total War Warhammer going into it. One, Games Workshop is so lazy, lazy, like if you look at the map of the Warhammer world and just kind of like squint a little bit, it's just Earth, but like tilt shifted. Like it's just Earth. Two primary continent systems. Fucking you got like essentially Aztecs in the southwest. You got essentially Egyptian pharaoh, like undead Egyptian pharaoh people in the southern parts of it. You got the far east that is literally called Cathay.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're so lazy. Here's the part two, and the actual thing that I have a problem with is I think the problem is that they're so lazy, and unfortunately that makes them really, really problematic with some of their choices.
Got it.
Like there's an so it's I want to talk about the lizards. I want to talk about the lizard folk because they're the ones that I talked to Cap about on stream a little while back, and I think they're the
Okay.
ones that are the easiest ones to be like, ooh, yikes. The lizard folk in Total War Warhammer are this hyper advanced civilization. They have ridiculous magic, whatever. They are also very, very Aztec Mayan inspired, down to like their naming conventions. And if that's where it stopped, I think it'd be one thing, right? But they are also like the rest of the world sees them as savages, and they eat
Mm-hmm.
people, and they have all sorts of fun sacrifice shit going on. And it very quickly becomes just like, ooh no, to me. And I think there's an argument to be made, and the argument Cat makes is that there's a difference between taking the baseline, which is hyper advanced South America, indigenous people inspired,
Mm-hmm.
or Middle America, I guess, indigenous people inspired. But I think that it's very difficult to take that baseline and then not accidentally be kind of problematic with it.
Mm-hmm.
In the same way, and kind of almost like the European equivalent is the Empire, and it is, yeah, it's definitely not the British Empire, but it's very colonial and very much
Mm-hmm.
like hyper expansionist and like all these other things. Cathay is very much inspired by like Japanese and Chinese mythology and like history. There are actual just terracotta soldiers. Like it's so uncomfy sometimes. And I don't know how to engage with it in a way that makes it so that I don't feel gross looking at it. Because I think that some of the things it does are super cool. The Tomb Kings are so rad. They're so cool. They're a bunch of undead people who were tricked by like the god of death and accidentally sold their souls in the process. And now they are cursed to be like undead tomb people. All they want to do is either die or restore to their former glory. That's all they want.
I'm 100% down with that. That's fun.
It fucks so hard. They are also very, very heavily inspired by like Egyptian mythology. Like they have a lot of monstrous races.
No way, the pharaoh race,
I know, right?
the literal pharaoh mummy race,
literal tomb kings. They're pharaohs. They're just, that's what they are. And I don't know how to engage with it in a way that doesn't make it feel kind of icky. And maybe that's just me being like overly sensitive. There is an argument made of like, hey, it is very clearly not trying to say anything about its real world parallel. It is drawing inspiration clearly, but it's not like this is a 1-to-1. But I think that's almost giving them a pass for being so goddamn lazy.
Yeah, it's here's the thing, right? Because there's okay, bear with me on this gonna sound weird statement.
Yep, go for it.
But like, it's not exactly like you can find any media out there that is not at least a little problematic.
Correct.
Right?
100%.
So as you are doing, you're trying to find a way that you can actually enjoy it without actually having too many
without feeling kind of icky.
Yeah. And then there's stuff like this where it's just really, really lazy. I don't know. Like, because we were talking about a little while ago, we were talking about like Baby Driver, right?
And how I can't really watch anymore because everyone involved in it is a shithole, or half the people rather.
A solid majority, probably, you know? But like, I guess it depends. How many people complain about it that are actually from the affected like groups, I guess is my usual
well,
go-to,
that right there is a very good like, hey, what's going on over here? And that I think is something that I'm not involved enough in the community to like have an opinion on. I'm just not. Like I would love to be, but I'm just not. Partially because the 40K and Warhammer communities are also icky. Because anyone
Nope, I'm with you on that. Yeah, no, a mutual friend of ours. I'm not going to say any names just because there's no reason, right? But their husband is big into Warhammer, you know?
Yeah.
And
he's great. He is
every
great.
time. Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Let's be clear. I know who you're talking
giant
about.
asterisk.
Yeah. He
this
is
dude,
fucking great.
We'll call him Greg. Yeah. Greg is fine. Greg's got no issues.
Yeah.
But I also like. I'm acutely aware that is not a normal element.
Yeah, that's the thing
of the Warhammer community. The fact that Warhammer had to make rules about whether or not you could dress in Nazi attire
Mm-hmm.
is insane to me, that there is a community that like people think that that was okay in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really more of a 40K problem. I don't actually know that much about the
I don't think anyone cares about Total War, right?
or Warhammer Fantasy is the other one. But yeah, I
Or
don't
yeah, Warhammer Fantasy. I don't think people who play Warhammer Fantasy care, because everyone it's the eternal issue of like people just don't consume certain things critically, but
Mhm.
then they overcritically look at other things. And
Yeah.
then when you have the hyper fascist space marines, it's really easy to point at them and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
this is funny jokes, but not for real life. Like you can play the space marines without it being a problem."
Yeah.
But like they're objectively bad people. Whereas it's like, "Oh yeah, here's the rats. They're the rats. These are the lizard people. They are lizards. This is the vampirates, you know,
Yeah.
as we all do."
There's the orcs.
And you know, and then there's still the orcs. I don't know. When it gets too real like world stuff, it bugs me, but also I try not to go too hard on fantasy stuff, because when you start to get too hard into fantasy stuff, you start to realize how problematic the origins are. However, it has been so removed from that in modern like knowledge.
Are we talking about
Big
goblins?
example being, I was just about to say goblins. Yep.
Yep.
How, you know, goblins and the classic witch design are
Mhm.
both like super anti-Semitic, but people today do not know that.
I would even argue and it's so hard to be like, oh, well, that makes it okay, because it doesn't really, but it makes it more understandable. Maybe would be the right way to say that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. And also
And-
like I'm not, I'm not Jewish, so I can't
Right.
I can't
As a guy who cannot weigh in on this, I don't think, since it's so removed, it doesn't, to me, feel like a thing we need to focus on in the same way as other things.
It's not the fucking monkey
It's not
race,
Kanye.
and well, I was gonna say not the monkey race.
Oh my god, the
Yeah.
happy slave monkey
The
race.
happy slave monkey
yeah.
race. Like,
yeah, no,
it-
what the
it's
every
one- it-
time I think about that, it pisses me
it
off
pisses
even
me off
more.
so
That's like
much. It's
so
so dumb.
fucking
It's
embarrassing.
so bad. It's so
How did they I don't fucking hell, man.
No, it's very
But you know, it's
upsetting.
not that, because that was bad.
No,
that was bad.
That was bad, and that was bad in like a way that was like directly almost a direct
It was like, hey guys, how
one-
stupid are you?
Yeah, exactly. It was like a direct callback to how bad it was, right? Like it was
Yeah.
directly like almost like pointing at itself and saying, "Look, guys, this is terrible. Isn't this terrible?"
Remember how D&D used to be bad? We're making big steps. Oh, you didn't like when we added a wheelchair as an optional option. Okay, cool. We'll bring back the slave monkeys.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like,
rough.
what
It's-
the fuck,
it's
guys?
super rough. And that's, I think, kind of the difference, right? These are the Warhammer, and so goblins are, I think a great example. Goblins, I think, are so removed from, at least for the most part. Obviously, you have exceptions. Looking at you, J.K. Rowling. But for the most part, I feel like goblins in classic media are very removed from a lot of other anti-Semitic stereotypes. Not all, but a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually, at a Halloween party the other day, I got to explain what was up with J.K. Rowling to someone who's like, yeah, I've heard a lot of people hate her now, but I'm a little out of the loop. What the fuck happened? And I'm like, oh,
Sweetheart.
so this stuff, actually. And she was immediately like, oh yeah, fuck that. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Honestly, here's the doubly worse thing, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, fuck J.K. Rowling, because in the movie, like she could have
it's so
pled
much worse.
ignorant.
It's
She
so
could
much
have
worse.
pled ignorant
Oh my god,
to the whole thing, which is already really, it's the stereotype was already bad.
Mhm.
Like weird goblin race that runs all the money for the entire like world, weird. But
bad, no good.
there's literally the Star of David on the Gringotts floor. Like what the fuck? I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's just really uncomfortable.
It's
but,
deeply
like,
uncomfortable.
what
No,
the
it is.
fuck, man.
It is, like I said, it's almost, you know what it is? It's almost ridiculous to the point of being silly, right? Like it's almost like, wow, you really are that shitty that this is what
Mhm.
you thought was okay. I don't know, man. It's wild. It's super wild.
Yeah.
God. But all that to say, all of that to say, every single bit of
Mhm.
that to say, Warhammer is interesting to me because the argument I could see, there are arguments I could see that would like be like, okay, I get where you're coming from with this. Personally, I don't know. It makes me kind of feel like, hey, maybe it doesn't have to be, like, it doesn't have to be quite so blatant, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. It doesn't need to be as blatant as it is. And it's frustrating laziness when it is blatant.
Exactly.
And it's Nina and I have talked about this before because the rather than try and Tolkien up an entire universe, Nina has generally picked real world like examples of things
Hmm.
as her world building stuff, and then you rename them, but you already have a language base that you don't have to work around. And she's just chosen to be like, yeah, and these things are not really they're not really a part of it. Like the racism angles of a lot of this stuff, not actually part of it, things like that.
Yeah.
Which does make it like a weird line to crawl for the Caribbean nation that she has, which has all the trappings of colonized by Spaniards and England,
Hmm.
but without the colonialism, because that's the Caribbean that she knows, but like also, and that's what she wanted to put into the world. And she's like, yeah, they just kind of got here on their own. There was a different reason. It wasn't colonialism.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
And
that's like, that's
and you
kinda
can
how it
make
has to
that
go.
work. And it can be hard to make an entire influence-free like world. But if you're going to make a video game that has this much
Yeah.
back lore in it,
Yeah.
I feel like you can take that time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You can take the time to make it better. You can take the time to be better.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love Total War. I love Warhammer. I think it's very stupid. Oh my
Yeah.
god, is it stupid? But I do like it very much. Like, full disclosure, I think it's a great game. I think it's a really fun setting. Um Maybe not a perfect setting by any stretch, but like, I think it's very cool.
I'm excited to check it out. I think
I,
it'll be fun.
I'm excited for you to enjoy it.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but
I think that you should play a game with Cap and I.
I cannot commit to that level of commitment.
Oh, so you're a piece of shit. Cool.
You know what? I am, but also I know what time you guys stream.
Yeah, that's
I know what time I work in the morning on
That's
Sunday.
fair.
Sometimes.
All right.
If
All right. Get
if I
out
didn't
of
work in the
here.
morning on Sundays ever, you better believe I'd be there.
Get out of here.
But also, I don't know how well I'd be able to play with you two as a you're a shitlord, I'm a shitlord, and we all know Cap is the shittiest lord of all.
The shit
How
lord
long
of-
before we turned
overall.
against each other?
You know what? Cap and I have done a really good job of it. I think because Cap knows that the moment that he turns against me, like truly turns against me and makes it not fun, is the moment that I stop playing.
Okay, that's fair, but like, what if it was two of us versus you? Which would be funny because it's your stream.
That is very
Flip
funny.
side, what if it's both of us versus him? Who
There
would
it
then
is.
get to have the fun of the challenge, but also would he stop playing? Or would it just turn into one of those, hey, Dan, I gotta tell you, Noah's not invited anymore because he's an asshole.
Okay, maybe a little all the above, you know?
I feel it would happen like that.
Yeah, no, I could see it. I actually could see it pretty well, actually. Damn, that would be fun. It would be fun, though. It would be fun, though. No, think how fun it would be.
It would be fun.
There
It would be fun.
There it is. You got there. Took you a minute. I'm like, Noah, tell me it's a good time. Aren't you having fun, Noah?
No, why? Yes, Dan. Let me check my bank account balance. Yes, Dan. I'm having a great time. So it's Halloween right now. All Halloween.
All Hallows Ween.
I know some of you are probably listening to this, and it's like, hey guys, it's like 45 or 50 minutes into the episode. Where's Edge? You promised last week.
Edge is dead.
And you know what? Damn, dude, we did promise last week.
I killed Edge. I killed her because she was stinky.
So true. But yeah, so unfortunately, I wasn't on top of things this year, and we don't have Edge. We're gonna get Edge next week. It's gonna be a 2-week late Halloween episode. As long as Edge actually is able to come in.
That feels
week.
right somehow, though.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
It just feels okay. I do feel like I'm very curious as to like what we do? Like, what edge what edge is bringing to the table this time around? Let me put it that way.
I'm excited. I know we've had some pretty great stories in the past.
Some bangers. might even say.
Sonic, hyper realistic,
Mhm.
Blood Sonic. I think we had. Did we have the Rake?
Mm. You're the one
I don't
telling the
remember
story.
what all Edge has brought us. I remember there's been a lot, and that's about all I've got.
That's as much as I know.
I don't know. Regardless, I'm stoked. I think it'll be a good
I'm
time.
so excited. It's gonna be great. But she's not here because, like I said, dead. But
Mhm.
that's why she's
So
coming
true.
back because All Halloween.
Yeah, we can't forget about Edge for All Halloween. It's been a tradition since year one, and I would
Sure.
honestly, I'd be really bummed out if it ended just because I didn't get my scheduling in order and she moved.
Damn, how dare she move on it? That's on her. Well, you know what?
It
No.
is on her.
That's
It's
a her problem for leaving
it is a her.
us
That's
behind.
what I'm saying.
She's the
you know,
villain
like
here.
she should have known better than to do that. It's disrespectful.
Rude.
Many of my constituents agree. By the way, I don't know what it is, but recently I've been making a lot of jokes that just involve my constituents.
It's very
I don't
funny.
know why that has been like my new go-to
Very
joke.
funny. It's a good joke.
Jeff and I were playing fucking Red Dead, and every time I would get gunned down doing a mission, I'd be like, I've been poisoned by my constituents. And they would just be like, what are you talking about? You don't have any constituents here. I think that's why they're shooting at you. I mean, it's true,
So
but
good,
you shouldn't
though.
say it
I
like
love
that.
it so much. It's true, but you don't have to bully me about it. Man, I miss Jeff. I hope he's doing all right.
Generally speaking, as far as I know. I don't know. I do be talking to Jeff a lot, but I do not remember much of what we talk about.
I do talk to Jeff often, but I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know how they're doing. I don't know where they're doing. Every day
I know where they're
talk to
doing.
them. Yeah, I hope you know.
I do be
where they're
knowing
doing.
where they're doing, but that's about the best I got.
Gross.
What do you mean? Fuck you, man. You know that's not what I meant. Get the fuck out of here.
Got him. We got him.
Do you have any Halloween party stories, Dan?
Nah, dude. Do I look like I go to Halloween parties? I don't fucking think so, sir.
I feel like you would.
I feel like you're wrong.
Why wouldn't you?
Ugh.
I could see it.
Ugh. No, I actually would love to, but nobody invites me because I'm not very friendly.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
How's that?
I went to one.
Do you feel better
the
now
other
that you
day.
know the truth?
Yeah, having a blast. And by a blast, I mean I had a lot of fun at the party, but I went so hard and I didn't drink enough water. You know, the one thing that I'm usually good at when I drink, did not do that well this year. And then I worked the next day.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I walked into work with a McDonald's breakfast sandwich, and they're like, "Oh, cool. Did you bring enough breakfast sandwiches for all of us?" And I'm like, "No, I have this so that I will not throw up right now." I feel like
I'm
shit.
doing
And they're
my
like,
best.
"Oh, you went
I'm
too
doing
hard
my
last
best.
night." And I'm like,
please leave me alone.
cannot convey to you how much I went too hard, and I don't want to talk about it. Oh God, dude. Our new security guard asked me about some alcohol. He's like, "So what do you think I should try next? What should the next thing I try be?" And I'm like, "My guy, I gotta be honest. I cannot think about alcohol right now, or I will simply die." And then he's like, "Oh, haha, okay." And then after I'd like gave him a quick like what I had done the day before, you know? And then later he's like, I'm setting something up, and he's like, "Hey, so what does that taste like?" And I'm like, "My guy, I don't know how much I can stress. If I think about alcohol too much, I will die right now. It is all I've got to maintain regular conversation with people at my register."
It's very good though.
Oh,
I'm sorry that you're suffering, but also, lol.
I'm fine now.
Well, sorry that you were suffering, but also, lol.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Today I'm doing fantastic, I think.
I don't know, dude. The few times I get I don't get hungover that often. But when I do, I feel like it's like like I get hungover one day and then the next day I'm still kind of out of it.
Yeah, mine was purely dehydrated. I didn't have a headache. I didn't have any light sensitivity, but I was how do I tactfully put this?
nauseous.
I
As
was
hell.
so dehydrated from activities that had happened due to drinking.
Mm-hmm.
No consequences that happened due to drinking. That sounds better. That I think is getting the point better. I
Yeah,
was so dehydrated.
that definitely shifts the mental.
Yeah,
Go.
because you're
Yep.
like, oh yeah, Noah got drunk and had sex.
Noah got
Nope,
drunk
no,
and
no, no.
fucked.
God damn it. You really got right up on that mic.
Yep. Sorry to the listeners' ears. I regret nothing.
But yeah, due to the consequences of drinking too much,
Mm-hmm.
boy howdy,
You
I
suddenly
was
had a
so
lot.
dehydrated.
You suddenly had less drink.
Mm-hmm. And I thought I would have been fine then at that point because there was nothing left. But I also didn't drink any water.
Oh, buddy. When I didn't get shit faced a little while back,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't then continue to be like sloshed the entire next day, like the entire like first 6 hours of the next day,
Mm-hmm.
because I was out till like 3 a.m. and back at work at like 8 or 9.
Yeah. Yeah, so you didn't get shit faced.
No, I didn't get shit faced, and obviously when I woke up, I was totally fine. Stone cold sober walking into the office.
Mm-hmm.
Generally do not recommend anything that happened in that regard. But yeah, no,
Nope.
I don't feel like I get drunk too often. I feel like the problem is that when I do get drunk, I get so blasted that I don't want to drink for a while. Like a while.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Like, I put vermouth in my gravy, but like
That does not count.
it does not count. I could not
Respectfully.
smell alcohol when I put the vermouth in there. All I could smell was vermouth, which is gross, but like not like that.
Yeah. It's not gross and evil. It's just kind of gross.
Mm-hmm. Whereas the thought of Bacardi is evil.
Mm.
I don't like clear Bacardi, as it turns out. I like other rums a lot more.
Fair enough. I don't mind Bacardi. I don't have a very strong opinion about my rums. I like rum well enough. I just don't have a lot of strong opinions about it.
A shout out to High for having a really good rum. When we came down for your wedding, that's the only rum I ever want.
The golden rum.
Yeah, it was like a really pale aged Papa's Pillar, I believe.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, so good.
Mm-hmm. The Ernest Hemingway rum, as I later found out.
Oh, well, you know. I think you did tell me that, and then I'd forgotten about it because I'm a bad friend.
I found out because I Googled it.
Amazing. Flawless, no notes. You've been saying your constituents. I've been saying flawless, no notes lately. Which I also find, I find just also very funny. As though everything that that people around me are doing is simply a performance.
I like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I feel like it very much fits with your general style and vibe and aesthetic too.
Yeah. It's a whole ass mood. Oh, speaking of performances, I got to go see Phantom this week.
Oh, do tell about that, because I think that's a great way to wrap this up.
Yeah.
How was Phantom?
It was fine.
Of the opera, not of the Menace.
It was fine. So I realized. So here's my. I have good things. I have bad things. I have in between things. Good things. Was there with my wife, and the seats were fine. And like our where we were in the theater was pretty good. Whatever. Good things. The costume design, fucking. Oh my god.
I'd be amazed if the costume design was bad.
Oh my god, they were gorgeous. The costume and set design were both really well done. There's one scene where they're I guess spoilers for Phantom of the Opera, whatever.
God, man, it's one of the oldest plays ever.
I know.
Come on.
Listen, I started saying it and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, so there's a scene when they're on a boat, they're sailing off to like the Phantom's like hidey hole or whatever. And they like kind of layer the whole stage in like a really nice thick fog, whatever. And the cool thing was that because of where we were sitting and how well like polished the stage was, it with the fog rolling over it actually did look like I actually had to like kind of look at Michelle and be like, did they just like pour water on the stage while we weren't looking? Which was a very cool effect. Like I know that sounds really minor, but it was very, very cool.
No, that's a really neat thing to actually be able to like do well.
Exactly.
It's hard to do.
Exactly. Music is great, whatever. I'd forgotten that like the opera parts of Phantom are so fucking boring.
When the
Like you got
Phantom isn't Phantoming, you're just like,
yeah, kind of.
I
Well, like
sleep.
yeah, you got this really rad like thriller murderer out there, and then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, they are in an opera house, and you do have to sit here and listen to like 10 minutes of an opera song, that so one of the HR at my current job used to do opera. Like that's what she moved to New York for.
Interesting.
Yeah, very cool. She's good at it. She's an amazing singer, but like that's what she did. Um, and she said that she fucking hates Phantom because in her mind, like it ruins what people think of as opera. And I gotta be honest, after seeing it, I'm like, you know what? If I went not knowing anything and I was like, yes, I've seen Phantom of the Opera and that is my one exposure to opera as like a fucking medium. Yeah, I'm understandably pissed because the parts that aren't the Phantom are so boring. And opera isn't necessarily boring.
No.
As somebody who does not know a lot of opera still, I would still go see an opera because I know that like what was in Phantom was definitely not indicative of like the final. But like
I've seen opera because I watched James Bond: The Quantum of Solace.
ah,
So,
did you like that opera?
well, yeah, I mean James Bond was beating the shit out of people during it. It was great.
Ooh, that's pretty rad. See, you know what? If the Phantom had been beating the shit out of people during the opera parts, I probably wouldn't have had as many problems.
Yeah, nope, that makes sense.
That's the take, and I'm sticking to it.
I think it's a good take. The Phantom needed to beat more people.
The Phantom. To be fair, I would make a nice little argument here that the Phantom should always be beating more people.
Any Phantom, really.
Also, didn't realize how horny people were for the Phantom.
Oh, dude, how did you? That's honestly one of the only things I know about Phantom of the Opera is how horny everyone is for the Phantom.
Which is wild, because he sucks. He sucks
Oh,
so
yeah.
bad. He's the worst.
Oh yeah. He
And
sucks, man.
Actually, credit to this portrayal. So Michelle was talking about, because she went when she was much younger and saw a very different show, because it was like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And the Phantom for this one was like, yeah, kind of spooky when he was doing his Phantom thing, but like very much was like kind of pathetic as like when he was just like talking as a person. And I kind of loved it. I think that's a good read on the Phantom, because he sucks.
Yeah, man.
He sucks so bad.
The Phantom sucks ass. He's just an asshole.
He's just an ass. He's just so horny.
The world's horniest man doesn't know what to do.
World's horniest man doesn't know that just because I taught someone to sing, they don't have to love me.
Yeah.
Lesson for all the men in the audience. Life lesson that everyone should be aware of is that just because you teach someone to sing doesn't mean they're gonna fuck you. In fact, I would make the argument it means they shouldn't fuck you.
Thank you, Dan, for this closing wisdom. If you would like to hear more closing wisdom from Dan, you can listen to Off the Air Podcast, available every Thursday at midnight, ideally, sometimes a little bit later, depending on the editor's schedule. If you would like to hear more of Noah talking about cooking things and probably talking over other people, you can listen to Off the Air Podcast, available every Thursday at 12 a.m. Eastern, or later, depending on the editor's schedule. Off the Air Podcast is a production of Off the Air Podcast and Off the Air Industries. All rights reserved. Do not distribute.
Or do, actually. No, hold on. Please do.
Oh, wait.
distribute.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Damn it, no. Now we're never gonna make it big.